This is Chamberbrake. This is a Colt Python 4-inch in high Colt polished blue from 1976. This is a gun review, as well as a little bit of what I go through to find the value. I'm a certified personal property appraiser, and I don't do it professionally or anything. I did it just basically so that I was able to value guns, and I don't do it as a full-time job. But anyway, what I would go through, minus the comps, which are the comparable pricing, it's just what I look for to make sure that it's original, and to make sure that it has everything that they say it has, and it has not been modified in some way or anything of that nature to reduce the value. So this is a Colt Python in high Colt polished blue. You'll notice that it has the double pin sight, so it is the 1970s. Later on they went to a single pin sight. It has the walnut style grip at the thumb rest, which happened in the 70s. The Colt here emblem, Colt emblem in the steel. I hope that everybody can see everything. Oops, don't want to do that with a Python. Anyway, so here we have just a premier handgun in all of fashion. You want to look here, we start here, we'll just work our way. Look here in the seam of the grip, and look and see if there's been any damage to it, if there's been any refinishing, if it has been changed in any way. And in this case, the grip is not aligned properly, and actually has probably been removed, and then it has been repolyed on one side. It doesn't fit properly. It could even be a different grip. But you can actually see here where the air bubbles are in the probably a poly finish, high gloss finish, that I doubt would have been factory. During this period of time, Colt was still making these in highest quality. It is what the Colts were made for, known for. It is everything in that. We look at this screw head. You want to look very closely at the screw head here, and hopefully we can get a good video of that. Within the light that I have, it looks fairly good, but it has definitely been taken off. The grips have been removed, and it does have what I would consider to be a refinish of the high gloss poly, which I'm assuming somebody put on. You will continue on down the path here. You want to continue to look at other areas. Many of these in the 70s were holstered because it was a 4-inch. The 4-inch was actually made to holster to meet that market. And Colt made this in the 4-inch high blue, and it will have holster marks, many of which are here, which this does not have, which is nice. Here, and then you see some nicking up here usually if you do have a holster mark. You can also see holster marks up here, especially on the front sight. Now this front sight has a little bit of loss, but otherwise it is in good shape. The adjustable sight has not been torqued on. The screw is in very good shape, and overall it is in good shape from the top and the bluing. The cylinder opens, which is called the bank lock, Colt bank lock cylinder. The locking mechanism was a spring-loaded mechanism that, when pulling the trigger in a Colt Python specifically, and other revolvers of this era, it actually locks the revolver's cylinder in place, allowing for very accurate alignment to the barrel, which is what made these extremely accurate guns. This was made from the 50s to late 90s and early 2000s. There were some special models. And continuing on here, the trigger pull is smooth. Everything is tight. I look in here for any damage that might have occurred. Because this is an open well, this can get damage from carrying, and there doesn't seem to be any, so that's in good shape. We have an overall really nice quality 1976 Python. Now it has been fired, and that is pretty easy to tell. One of the things that I do use in the evaluation process is I use frog lube degreaser. I can't recommend this enough. It is a solvent, actually, frog lube solvent. Put this on a Q-tip, and then I can just take this and check in here for if it doesn't look that like it's been fired. Normally this solvent will bring up a little bit of debris, and I can tell that it has been. Now in this case, this gun has definitely been fired. It is not in bad shape by any means. This is actually a really nice shape Colt Python from the 1970s, and I can tell that it's been fired. Some of these blues, unlike the nickels, can be cleaned up, and you can't really tell very well that they've been fired. But in this case, it definitely has been. This has the new ejector versus the 1950 model, and it works in good shape. It is tight. The serial number matches on the frame of the gun, as well as inside the there's a place for the serial number here. I don't want to show the serial number. It's in there. Using my Q-tip here for a little bit of reference. In here and in here. One of the other things you want to look for when you're doing this is, have they been modified in any way by gunsmiths? The blues were harder to modify because they couldn't get the repolishing of the blue. So this isn't quite as easy as a stainless. And then also you want to look here and see if it's been rebarreled. Because of the market and how the prices have just exploded in the last 5 years, 6-8 years, people have begun to put these together. You can have the matching serial number here and inside the frame, and then you can tell that they've taken the barrels off and they found a better barrel. They found a barrel that was in good shape or whatnot, and you can tell that. This has not been broken. This barrel has not been removed, so this should still be factory accurate. This gun would be a excellent shooter. I am not going to shoot it, and easy to clean up and put together. This does not have the box with it, which does hurt its value without the paperwork. Again, I am talking at this from an appraisal value and from a collector's value. If I was going to shoot this, this would be an excellent shooter gun for a collection, 357-38, but I'm not. I'm looking at it as a collector. At least that's how I'm valuing it at the moment. I look at these screws to see if it's been taken down. These are all sharp, no movement. None of these pins have been knocked out. Even the sight pin is good here. The sight pin inside has not been nicked. Sometimes these get nicked as people drive these out and put aftermarkets on. And you want to look for these things here. As I said before, with the screw head has been moved. Here they have looked like put a poly finish or some sort of high gloss hardened finish on the screw, opposite side of the screw head. This is something I've not seen before, and I just don't believe in the 70s Colt would have released something that had air bubbles in the finish and yet had this full of a poly. I don't know, this could even be a linseed or another type of oil that dries hard to make it look better as if it was used, but it could be factory. It just doesn't appear to me that this quality at this time, Colt was still making very high quality revolvers, and continued to do so. So anyway, moving on, I want to check here around the trigger, how much has it been used. All the bluing is in great shape. There's no action issues here. The small stamp is here in the frame. It is in great shape. There is a small, what appears to be, I can't tell, maybe a nick here, but it is still blued. The name Python 357 is beautiful on the frame of the gun and it looks wonderful. We do have, as I said, a little bit of issue here, and then probably the only issue that I really find in the finish, which is actually the biggest part, is right here. The bluing has been worn. I'm going to assume it was laying on something like this, or worse yet, maybe like this. Put it in a vault, put it in a gun safe, put it on a carpet or a felt. I find that felts are destructive to blues, and it has lightening of the blue right here. It's not a scratch, it's actually a wear issue. So it's been worn only here, but it doesn't appear to be worn anywhere else, which leads me to believe it wasn't holstered, and if it was, it wasn't holstered very much, and so when it was laying on something, moisture drying and coming back actually took the blue off, because it's not even an issue here at the end of the barrel. I see a little issue here that just needs cleaned up. It's just debris coming off of from being fired and not cleaned. This can be cleaned up very easily, very comfortably. This is a beautiful, beautiful Python in 4-inch, and the finish is just wonderful, and can easily, just with my Q-tip here and a little bit of degreaser, a little bit of solvent from my frog lube solvent, and I'm just able to clean up almost everything. And it wouldn't take a whole lot of time, unlike some guns that need a tremendous amount of detailing to bring back to usability. So there you go. Colt Python 4-inch 1976. It matches everything that I can find without the manuals. It does have one or two minor, very minor blemishes. The front sight is in great shape. It's a ramp sight. It does not have the orange on it. And the rear sight is in great shape. The hammer is tight. Everything is tight. I would give this gun a very high rating. I'm not going to do evaluation because I'm not going to do comps on here and then have them dated. And if this was somebody wanted to match this with a 6, this would be a wonderful for a matching pair. If somebody even had some box sleeves, just to add to the value, you probably could do so. It's got very clean break inside. It would not need taken down. And again, I enjoy this gun very much, looking at this gun. I'm a little perplexed by the hand grip being off of alignment here and then up in here. It should look like this one, which is matched very well, and it's been hand formed to the gun. This one is actually got a little bit of too much of a curve there, and then doesn't match at the bottom. I have not seen that in the Colt factory grips. So there it is. 4-inch 1976 Colt Python, very high value gun, would be an excellent shooter, can be cleaned up in a matter of maybe an hour to very high quality value, and basically you would do that without using any kind of abrasives or anything. You just start in working with just a minimal polish, because you don't want to harm in any way the Colt blue polish, which is one of the most beautiful blues I have ever got to work with. And you would have an excellent gun. So there it is. I'm Chamberbrake, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, doing a gun review on a 4-inch Colt Python. This is how I would go about starting my valuation if I was going to value it for someone or myself. If someone brought one in and wanted it to be looked at. This is an excellent gun with a few minor blemishes that are really not big issues, because I've seen some that are in just terrible shape. This blue can pit and all sorts of things. It's been kept in good shape. With this one handle issue, which would not affect the firing, but does make it not a perfect gun. Don't forget to like, subscribe, friend, and share. Continue to do these. Continue to give me feedback. I want to know what you'd like to see. I do come across a number of different guns, and I will continue to do this, with my primary passion being ELR shooting, which I also post for. Forever forward, backward never. Thank you. Enjoy.